Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. Welcome to Class Bridge Online School. Today we are going to look at XLOOKUP functions, and these functions are used to find and retrieve specific data from a table or a range. So they automate the find and replace or the search feature for your data, allowing you to quickly locate a value in one column and return a corresponding value from another column. So we have a number of them. We have the lookup, we have the VLOOKUP, we have the HLOOKUP, we have the XLOOKUP. So we are going to look at all of them and see how they work and how they are used. So let's first take an example of this data here that we have. If you have been given a file like this and you have been told maybe to look for the author of a book with a reference code A0007. So we are seeing that the book reference codes are in this column C. So what you're going to do, manually you have to through all the records in this column. Then when you find the code that you need, it's there. Let's say we want to look at 0007. Then you go to the row and look for the author in case you're looking for the author. So you're going to come to this row and look for the author for this code, which is A007. We are here. So that's how you can do it manually. You look for the book code, then you look for the author or any other information that you need from that row. But with the lookup functions, we can just automate that. Let's look at these functions that we can use to search for data from a file and return the results as needed. So the first function we are going to look at is the lookup function. So this tool that helps you to find a value in a range and return a corresponding value from a different range. So the primary limitation of this function, the lookup, is that it only supports approximate matches. So we are going to look at how we can search for data using the approximate match or using the exact match. But one of the limitations, the primary limitation of the lookup function is supporting only approximate matches, and your data must be sorted in ascending order for it to work correctly. So we use this lookup for simple scenarios where you need to find a value within a sorted list. So how do you use this function? You're going to see that we have the lookup. You're going to type, as you know, we always start with the equal signs. So you're going to type the function there. Then you specify the value. What are you looking for? Then the lookup vector from where, then the result, what should be returned after the search. So the lookup value is the value that you want to find, So then we have the lookup vector, which is the single row or the column you are searching. Then we have the result vector, the single row or column that contains the data you want to return. So let's look at how the lookup is used. Let's take an example. We are going to start, like I've said, we have the approximate match and exact match. We are going to start with approximate match. Let's go to the lookup. So when you look at this lookup here, we have the vertical search. We are going to look at also the horizontal search. Let's take an example of this. We have these students here and we have their scores here. Physics, they got this. So we need to grade them. We are going to grade these students using this the grading scale that we have here. So you're going to say equal signs lookup. Then after that, you're going to open brackets. You can also go to the insert function, the fx. You click there. Then you click OK. Then here you're going to specify the lookup value. What are you looking for? We are looking for this 60 here. Then the lookup vector, you're specifying the range where the function should search. So you just come here and select. You're telling the function to search from this range that you have specified. Then after that, you have to specify the return vector. So what should it return after finding the value here? You have to return this. Okay, so you press OK. Then you're seeing that from 60 it has brought a C. So we have our C here. Then you do what? You can just drag down and get the results. Okay, now we have this challenge here. We are seeing that we are having this NA, then we have NA here, then we have another 50, which is not among what we want to be returned from here. Now, when I double click here, I'm seeing that my selection, this is what I selected. But when I go to this other part, I'm seeing that my formula has moved from here. It has moved it down. Reason being that I didn't make this one fixed. Okay, there's what we call absolute cell referencing and relative cell referencing, and also we have mixed cell referencing. So when you're using this function, make sure your range, the selection here, the lookup vector is fixed, and even the return vector is supposed to be fixed, so that when you copy this formula from cell C4 to C5, this range here that you selected remains constant. How do you do that? Let's take an example. Let's take an example here. If we have these items here, we have rice, we have beans, we have milk, then we have the price, 2000, 3000, then 2000 here, and we have the discount column here. And maybe they tell you that these items here were given out on a discount of 10%, and they tell you to calculate the discount that was given. So what we are going to do is to say equal signs, this one B2 times the cell address that contains the 10%, which is E3. So if I enter, I'll be able to get the 200, which is the 10% of 2000. Now, if I drag this formula, I move it down, you see that I'm getting a 0 this side. When I double click here to see which formula I used there, you see that it has moved from 10% to, from E3 to E4. Then from here also, it has moved from E3 to E5. Okay, because it is using the relative cell referencing, where the formula changes as you move it or as you copy it from one cell to another. So if I want here the 3000 to be multiplied by 10%, even the 2000 here to be multiplied by 10%, I have to make the E3 here fixed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the dollar signs there. I'm going to select this, then I place my F4 from the keyboard, functional key number 4. So you place functional key number 4 to automatically put in the dollar signs. So from there I can place OK or enter. Then when I come back and drag my formula, it's going to go back to 10% because I've made the E3 fixed. So it's only this side that is changing. From here it moves to B3, then B4, but the E3 where 10% is, it is made constant. So it is fixed and it can't change. So that's how we use the relative or absolute cell referencing. When you put in the dollar signs, it means you're making this cell address fixed. It won't change. So that's the same thing we are going to do here. We are going to make sure that our lookup vector is fixed. I'm going to select it, then I place F4 on the keyboard. Then also the return vector is supposed to be fixed. I'm going to place F4. So that way I can get the results like that. So you see that C, it's a C. When you look at 71, it's between 60 and 75. Now this is the closest match. It is looking for the closest value. When you look at 71, its closest figure is supposed to be 75. But as this function looks for the closest match, this closest match should not be greater than the figure that we are looking for. So when you look here, 75 is greater than the 71 that we are searching for. So it will go for the 60 that is closest to. The lookup value should not be greater. Okay, so that's why we have 71 here as a C. So we can just drag and get the answers from there. So that's how we use the lookup vertical, using the vertical search. Okay, so let's continue with lookup, but this time using the horizontal search. We are going to use the same data here, and we are going to grade. So we are saying, you see this part here, the alignment here was in 2 columns, but here the alignment is in rows. So this is horizontal, the other one was vertical. So what we are going to do, we are going to do the same thing, equal signs, look up, open brackets. Then here, let's just type in the lookup value. We want to get this. The lookup value is what you're searching for. So we are searching for this 60, which is B16. Then from where you have to specify the lookup vector, which is this, but this time horizontally. So before I put a comma, I'm going to place F4 so that I have the dollar signs put automatically. Then I'll put a comma. Now this time I want maybe to return. So my return vector or the results vector is going to be this. I want to return this format. So again, I place F4 and I close brackets. Okay, so this time I'm going to have this. Okay, so I've just selected this one from the format, because that's what I want to return. But also if I want to return the other one, let me just remove this, and I say I want it to be having this grade F4, then I enter. Still I'm getting the same results as the ones we have got before. I think that is okay. Now from there, after looking at the lookup function, we can continue to the VLOOKUP function. Okay, we have the VLOOKUP function, which stands for vertical lookup. So it searches for a value in the first column of a table and returns a value in the same row from a specified column. So the lookup vector must be on the left side of the data you want to retrieve. So this is one of the limitations of the VLOOKUP function. The lookup vector has to be on the left side. So that column has to be on the left side. Then what you want to be returned must be on the right side. So it is searching from left to right. How does it work? What's the syntax for VLOOKUP? The syntax is, you have to type the function there, then the lookup value, what you're looking for, then you specify the table array. Then after that, you have to specify the column index number, then you specify the range lookup. Now, the lookup value, as we've seen before, it's the value that you want to find. Then you have the table array. The table array is the range of cells containing your data. So that table where your data is, that range of cells where your data is, that's the table array. Then the column number from left to right in your table array that contains the data that you want to return. That column that has what you want to return, its number is what you put in the column index number. Then we have the range lookup. it's either true or false. So now we are looking at the approximate match. If you put true, it means the function is going to find an approximate match. Okay, so your data must be sorted in ascending order, don't forget that. Then if you put false, it means you want the function to find the exact match. Let's look at that. Okay, now when you look at this data here, we are going to use this data. The students are there, then we want to get the grades. Also, we have this the grading scale here. We have the grading in different countries. We have Uganda, we have Zambia, we have Estonia, maybe you have others. So we are using this grading scale here. So we are going to say equal signs VLOOKUP, open brackets. You can either use this insert function option, or you can just type it manually. So we are going to have the lookup value. Okay, after selecting the lookup value, click comma, then you go to the table array. The table array, we have said this is the range. Okay, the range where your data and what is to be returned is found. So you're going to select this table. You're going to take it as a table. So you select it, you select the range of your figures from score up to these values that you want to return. Select everything. Now when you look at this, someone will say, why don't we just select what we want? Maybe the score and this grading from Uganda. But in our example, we shall be using these different columns. That's why I've selected everything. But depending on how your data is, you can just select what you want to use. But make sure the lookup vector, these figures that we are going to compare, the column is on the left. It has to be on the left. So I've selected my range here, the table array. I'm going to put the dollar signs. Don't forget that, comma. Then you have the column index number. And we say the column index number is that number for the column which contains the values that you want to return. So let's say we are going to return this FDCBA, depending on how somebody has performed. So I'm going to count from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're seeing that my table has 5 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the column number that I want to return is number 2. So 1, 2. You count from the left. 1, 2. Okay. So we have number 2 here because what I want to be returned is in column number 2. So after that, put a comma again. We have the range lookup. Do you want an approximate match or you want the exact match? So for now, we are using the approximate match. So I'm going to put true. Then I close the bracket. So you're going to see that I'm getting the grades there. Oh, sorry. I'm getting the grades the way they are supposed to be. Oh, let's say I want to display this column here. The values that are in that column, that's what I want to display. I'm going to change from 2 to the number that I want to, the column number. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put number 3 here. If I put number 3, it means the values in column 3 are the ones that are going to be displayed like that. So with a column index number, you specify the column number that has the values that want to be displayed. Okay, now from there we can continue to the next part, which is the lookup, the HLOOKUP. Okay, now when you look at this HLOOKUP, which is horizontal lookup, so it works the same way as the VLOOKUP, but now the only difference here, this one uses the horizontal alignment, the other one is vertical. So it's used when your data is arranged in rows instead of columns. Remember, the VLOOKUP uses columns, then HLOOKUP uses rows. So it searches for the first value in the first row of the table and returns a value in the same column from a specified row. How does it work? So we have the syntax here: lookup value, table array, row index number, then range lookup. It's the same, but now this time we are using the row instead of the column. So when you look at this, you have the lookup value, which is the value that you want to find, the range of cells containing your data, then the row number from top to bottom. Remember the other time for VLOOKUP it was from left to right. So this one has to be from top to bottom. Your table array that contains the data that you want to return. Then the range lookup is the same as VLOOKUP. It's either true for approximate match or exact. False for exact. So let's go and have it practically. Okay, now let us look at the HLOOKUP practically. So we have our data here. We have our data, we have the grades are there. Then we can say equal sign HLOOKUP, then open brackets. You can go to the function here. I'm going to specify the lookup value, which is this 60 B40. Place a comma. Oh, sorry, no. Look, I'm specifying the lookup value, which is B40. Then I got the table array. I'm going to select my range here. This is my table array there. Then don't forget to put the dollar signs. I have to make it fixed. I don't want my function to look outside this. I want it to search only from that part that I've selected. Then I go to the row index number. Row index number here, you specify which number do you want to return, which figures do you want to return from here. So maybe I want to return what is in this row. So you count from top. Don't forget, you count from top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I want to return this format of 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to select row number 4, which is like when I count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to specify my row number as 4. Then the lookup, like we said, it's either true or false. False for the exact match, then true for the approximate match. So I'm going to use true. Or you can just type 1. Even number 1 works. If I put 1, it's going to see it as true. Okay, so I place OK, and from there I can get the results. So I've just double clicked on this at the bottom right corner. So I've just double clicked on that so that I get the other grades coming automatically. So that's how we use the HLOOKUP using the approximate match. So with approximate match, the function is going to look through this range between what you have specified here, like 50 to 60. If someone gets 51, that person is going to get 51, 52, 53 up to 59. That person will get a D. So to look through again the range between 60 to 75, so that person will get a C. So that's how the approximate match works. It will look for the closest match. Then after looking at that, we can go to the exact match. We can look at exact match. Okay, from there we are going to go to the exact match. Okay, somebody will ask a question: where do HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP functions fall short? Now with the HLOOKUP, if the data is not, the lookup vector is not at the top, it has to be the first one. Okay, it has to be like if I'm searching for this, if I want to return this, it means my lookup vector has to be above what I'm going to return. The moment I select from here, it means the function is going to consider this one, the first row that is selected, the first row at the top. This one, that in my selection, the function is going to consider the first row that I have selected in my selection as the lookup vector. So to search and compare using the first row that I've selected in that selection. So the same way with the VLOOKUP, if my lookup vector is not on the left side, let's say this is my lookup vector, and if I put it this side, okay, then here we can't use the VLOOKUP, because the lookup vector here, this one here, must be on the left of your selection. So like that, it has to be, if I select from here, I select my table array from here, the function is going to take this first column to be the lookup vector by default. The moment I select from here, if this is my selection here, the function is going to take this column G as the lookup vector. To find data and return what we want to return, but this time using the option of exact match. Now let's say we have these country codes here, then we have the country here, then we have the destination code, which is the country code also, then we have the date, we have the country, and we want to find the country depending on the code. So if your code is UGI, that means that is Uganda, so we need to put Uganda here. So what we are going to do, we are going to first look at how we can use the exact match using the VLOOKUP function. The reason why we are not looking at the lookup function, remember we said the lookup function only works with the approximate matches. So we are looking at the VLOOKUP here for the exact match. So the lookup function cannot be used here, because for it is for the approximate matches. Here we are looking at VLOOKUP using exact match. So let me just type my function here, equals VLOOKUP. I open brackets. When I open, I'm going to have the syntax here displayed: value, lookup value, table array, column index number, range lookup. So the same way we have used it using the approximate match. So we are going to the lookup value. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this code UGI. I put a comma, then I'm going to select the table array. From where? From here. Okay, so I put the dollar signs, don't forget, then put a comma, the column index number, I'm going to return column number 2, the code is in column number 1, 1, 2. It's going to look for this code, then it displays what is in this column 2. So I'm going to put number 2 there, a comma, then this time I want to have the exact match, so I'm going to put false, or you can put 0. So I'm going to put false there, then it's going to give me the countries here. So it is bringing the country this side. Okay, now we are going to look at the HLOOKUP, this time using the exact match. We are here. We have been given this, the customers are given these discount codes, then the percentage is also there. So for you need to find out the discount that was given. The price is here, then you need to find the discount that was given depending on the code the customer has. So we are going to come here and say equal signs HLOOKUP. Again, the first thing is going to be the lookup value. So we are looking for this code here. From where? From this range that we have selected. Dollar signs, don't forget. Then comma, row index number, we want it to return this. Okay, we want to return the percentage that was given. So row number 2, that's what we are picking, because our selection has 2 rows, 1, then 2. Remember we said with the HLOOKUP, the function is going to take the first row within your selection as the lookup vector. So we want to return what is in row number 2. So I'm going to put number 2, comma, then we want to get the exact match, so I'm going to put a 0 there. Enter. So when you look at this U, discount code U, it has a discount of 0.2. Okay, so that's why we have 0.2 here, then 0.2 here. You can double click on that. Remember, we want to get the discount. Okay, discount for this. If you have been told maybe to get the discount for this, then you have to multiply by this amount here so that you get the discount that was given. So from here it has 24.5, 94.26 there. So you have got the exact match for those codes that were given and even the percentage that was given there. Okay, so after looking at the HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP using the exact match and approximate match, we are going to look at another function, which is the XLOOKUP. So we are going to look at the XLOOKUP. The main reason why the XLOOKUP was introduced, because someone will ask, why are we looking at all these applications? All these functions. Each function has its advantages and it has its limitations. We looked at the lookup function. For it, we said it's just working with approximate matches. Then we have the VLOOKUP, which looks at the vertical alignment of your data. If your data is aligned vertically on the worksheet, then you can use it. Then also it compares, or it searches from left to right. Then we have the HLOOKUP, which searches from top to bottom. So those are some of the limitations, because VLOOKUP is searching from only left to right, and it will take the first column in your selection, the table array. The first column will be the lookup vector. Then the same thing with HLOOKUP, the first row in your selection will be used as the lookup vector. So those are some of the limitations of using those functions. But with the XLOOKUP, you can use it regardless of how the data is aligned. And even the other part of it, if we use the VLOOKUP, let's first go back a bit. If you use the VLOOKUP, let me add something that is known there, the code. Let me add the code as ER. So you're going to see that it's going to bring NA, because ER is not in the codes that we have to look for. The country codes, ER is not there. But with XLOOKUP, if what you're looking for is not in the range, so it has not been found after the search, then you have an option of putting a message to be displayed in case what you're looking for is not found. So you can just put a message there to show you that what you're looking for is not in that range that you have specified. But with the H and VLOOKUP, there's no way you can put that message there. So that's why we have this XLOOKUP. So after looking at the VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, we are going to look at another function called XLOOKUP. So it's a modern and more versatile replacement for VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. How does it work? The XLOOKUP, its syntax is the value, lookup value, then the lookup array, then the return array. Then we have this option here. If what you're looking for is not found, okay, you can put the message there to be displayed in case it is not found there. Then we have also the match mode, we have the search mode. So if not found is not in the VLOOKUP function, and even in the HLOOKUP function is not there. But with XLOOKUP, we can have that one, the message displayed in case what we have specified is not in the range that you have searched. So we have the lookup value you want to find, then we have the range of cells to search within. That's the lookup array. Then we have the return array, the range of cells containing the data you want to return. Then we have the if not found. So this is optional. Want to return what to return if a match isn't found. So you can put any message, not found. Then we have the match mode. It's also optional. So by default, it's going to have the exact match. Then we have the exact match or next small item. We are going to look at that. Then we also have the exact match or next larger item. Then we have the wildcard character match. Then we also have the search mode. This is also optional. You say search from the first to last, which is the default, or search from last to first. So let's look at this XLOOKUP practically. Okay, so we have our data here. You have the country code, you have the country, so you have the destination, date, and the country. We need to get the country if the code is given here. So what you're going to do is to put equal signs again, XLOOKUP. You're going to open brackets there. Then after opening brackets, you're going to specify the lookup value, what you're looking for. I'm looking for this UG. Then after you're going to put a comma, the lookup array, you're going to specify where that data is. So you're going to specify, I'm looking for this. So you specify the lookup array. Don't forget the dollar signs. Then after that, you're going to put a comma and specify the return array. What is to be returned? It's this column here. Here we are selecting the lookup array alone, then also we select this separately. But in VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, we are selecting the table array at once. Then we specify what is to be returned. But here we first select the lookup array, then we select the return array. Then we put the the comma there, comma. So you can specify what to be returned or displayed in case the search or the value has not been found in that lookup array. So here with the if not found, you can put a message, not found. So this option is not there in the VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, but here with the XLOOKUP we can have that message displayed if the value is not in the lookup array. So you say not found, comma, you go to, because we are just going to have the exact match here, so you can just put a 0 there, then comma, the search. This one has no impact on how data is displayed, so you can just go with the default. You say 1, then continue and enter. So you can get the country codes there, I mean the country name from there. Okay, so let's have something, let's change the code here and we say maybe we have ER and C. So the message is displayed instead of displaying the hash NA, we are having not found. So you can know that what I'm looking for is not there in that range that I have specified. So that's how we use these functions, the lookup, HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, and XLOOKUP. So in the next video, we are going to look at how we can use the index match. Then we shall see how we can use all of them combined with the index match function. Thank you.